From downtown, this is Tim Kitzer from NBA Jam, and you're listening to NintenDomain Podcast. Boom shakalaka!
This week on NintenDomain, there's a scary amount of games coming to Switch in October. Plus, Nintendo helps you wake up.
Do I need to play 1 and 2 to enjoy 3? Well, it seems like no.
I got Echoes now. There you go.
There you go. Welcome to NintenDomain Podcast, episode 442. Your place to hear Nintendo fans talk about how ever so excited they are about a new clock that's coming out. And we are your hosts. I'm Trey, Dueling Django's Johnson.
I'm Jeremy. That was alarming, Mikowski.
I'm John, Accidental Waluigi Knitter.
Yeah, there you go. For anybody, anybody listening to this wouldn't know. John shared on Slack, or you could tell him. You know, tell about your accidental Waluigi story.
Not just accidental, occupational.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I wear a back brace sometimes at work and sometimes at home now too. If I've had a rough day, my back feels kind of sore. So I'll put the back brace on, and it's got like suspenders on it, and it goes around my waist, but then it's got suspenders. And then I was wearing it one day, and I was in the bathroom, and I realized that I was wearing a purple T-shirt that day, and I just looked like Waluigi, like straight up. So I just took a photo of it.
Supporting your favorite character.
My least favorite Nintendo character. Yep.
I don't know. Maybe you dislike it because it is you.
Yeah, it reminds you too much of yourself.
What does that say? Oh no.
You are Waluigi. You love roses and twisting.
You don't
your
hate yourself. You just hate your doppelganger.
Yeah.
And I dance sometimes.
It's true. I've seen you play tennis once.
Yeah. So hot off the press, it just happened like right before we recorded. Maybe that's why we started an hour later, right? Just so we could see the
we hit snooze.
The Nintendo Alarmo
trailer advertisement.
Yeah.
The Nintendo Alarmo, the hot new Nintendo hardware that everybody's been clamoring for.
I think that's what the patent was, right? I think
I'm calling it the
thing we
Swatch.
talked about. Yeah. Well, it's like instead of a Switch, it's a Swatch.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah,
the trailer was right a couple of months ago, maybe 2 months ago. There was some news about hardware that isn't a game system. Yeah, this has got to be it, right?
I think so. Yeah, it was announced. I don't know what time, but I got up and checked I always check,
right on time.
Yeah, check the Nintendo news whenever I get up, and I'm like, oh yeah.
I thought it was April 1st.
It did kind of seem like one at first, like. Yeah, it was so left field, but I mean that's what makes it so Nintendo, right?
I guess so. Yeah.
It's even weirder because I woke up and like my newsfeed is flooded with like stuff about the hurricane and then
alarms.
What looked to be a fake Nintendo product. I was very confused.
It's called the Nintendo Sound Clock, Alarmo, and it's kind of. I looked at this, and the first thing I said, I was like, I've been doing this for years. When I was a teenager, I made a fucking burned CD. Once I got like a CD alarm clock that was made just with video game music that made me feel like waking up. Like I put like the opening to Street Fighter 2 on there, you know, or like the you know that it does, or it has like this, or it has like the Sun song from Ocarina of Time on there, and like it has like the overworld map song from Final Fantasy VI. Like I've done this before, like you know, where I use like specific songs to you know, that will like make me feel like I want to get up. Actually, for the longest time I wake up to, as of right now, I wake up to the overworld music to Final Fantasy IV because I really like that song. So that's been my alarm clock for the past like year or two or something, just because it's nice. I don't know. I like that song.
So you never stopped it once you started?
No,
burnt CD.
I didn't. I still. Well, I mean, I have. Yeah, I use
So is
the music
Alarmo
on
for
my phone.
you, or is Alarmo for the next gen? Who
It's
doesn't understand how to burn a CD.
Alarmo is definitely not for me. I don't want to pay. I mean, I'm not paying $100 for a interactive Nintendo clock. But I have quite.
How much of this is like Pokemon Sleep, like technology put into something?
Yeah, it was before the show.
what if
John
there's
and I
some
were talking
crossover
about
there?
that a little bit because
Actually,
yeah,
I'm really surprised.
I already have
that
Pokemon
there's
Sleep
not
for free.
That they announced all the different game themes that are there, and Pokemon is not in there.
I know it'd be
that will be
how
something
easy
down
would
the
it be
line.
to just to have Pokemon
Not
Sleep
yet.
built in?
Right. You would think
Maybe
that
you can download it eventually.
you're right. You'd think that they would combine their two sleep products right away, or maybe there's. I bet that I'm certain that's coming somewhere down the line. It has to be.
Well, I
It
mean,
just has to be.
it's not really their. I mean, Pokemon Sleep isn't like really like their product though. I mean, it's a Pokemon
Yeah,
company thing.
That's true.
So
Correct,
I mean,
but I mean their interests are completely aligned on this. Apparently, they're Nintendo and Pokemon. They're practically the same company, and then
not really.
they're both doing a sleep product. It's like yeah, make it happen. I don't know.
I
I don't have
yeah.
any vested interest
Also,
in this. I
make
don't
it
care either way. It
make
just
this
seems logical.
interface with Ring Fit 2 or whatever that comes out.
I mean, it has a Ring Fit theme in it.
It does.
Yeah.
It'll be like, hey, wake up and put your fucking ring on. Get the ringing, asshole.
Or it'll just add
That's what
to
it
your,
should say.
like, it'll show your stats or whatever on the screen when you wake up. It'll be like, doot, doot, doot.
It'd be like, hello, time for you to wake up. You haven't played Ring Fit in 5 years. Get on
You
it.
have to squeak.
Get ringing.
Get on it,
turn off the
Jerko.
alarm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
think this-
Something about Alarmo. It sounds like maybe it's because I watched.
It sounds like a robot that just does alarms.
Right. No, I watched. What's it called? The Matt Groening. Whatever the
Futurama.
the fantasy Futurama. What's that called?
Yeah. Enchanted
Oh.
or something.
Oh,
Or
there's
just
like-
Oh
Disenchanted.
yeah. That
Yeah,
show.
there's
That
like
show
a
was
character named.
not great.
It's not great, but there's a character named Elfo, and I'm like, to me,
Yeah.
it just sounds like it's like a Simpsons character at this point.
It does seem a little
Alarmo
lazy.
is like a
Towel-y.
one-off Simpsons character.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna like just show up and someone's gonna smash it with a hammer. That's gonna be the end of it.
It sounds like they were trying to play like a riff on Amiibo or something.
Yeah.
But
Or
it just
Labo.
sounds lazy. Yeah,
Or like Labo. It's a robot that shows up and sticks a shell in your asshole until you wake up. Multiple shell after shell.
It uses the IR camera going up your asshole. Yep.
There you go.
I think it's incredibly annoying. Like it's gonna keep like playing coin noises at you until you get out of bed. What I want to know is how far away do you have to be from your bed to shut the fucking thing off? Because like if I had one, the way our room is set up, like would I have to I'd probably have to get up and go all the way in the bathroom before it stopped yelling at me or whatever.
There's
It's
got to
like-
be. I mean, I'm sure you can hit the button to turn it off if you want to.
But I
There's
can
a big
do that
button
on my
top
phone
of it.
already
Yeah.
for free.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm someone who's bought a fancy alarm clock. I think this is
You did, yeah.
for me, and that there's an audience for it. I've talked about it on the show before, but I bought a sunrise alarm clock. It simulates the sunrise to help wake you up, and it really works. Like it wakes you up before you actually are aware that you're waking up. In the way that if we went camping 2 weeks ago, don't you kind of like see the sunrise, before you're like actually conscious, and like you just wake up feeling more full, more like
Some
better sleep.
people do. Not me. When I get
Some people
waking up before the time I have to wake up, I get angry. So it's not really, especially when it's the sun.
there's a methodology to a proper full wake up, and I can kind of see maybe some of the reasoning or have an idea of maybe the science behind it, like the idea
Circadian
of
rhythm.
circadian rhythms, and then like the movement thing, like that the idea of the coin sounds as you move is not just to be cutesy.
Annoying.
I think there's something that's like it brings you into consciousness, the fact that I'm moving and a sound is happening.
It makes me have
Like,
that
it
vending
does
machine.
help you
dream
wake
I
up
always
better,
have,
I
where
think.
the coins are pouring out. I really do have that dream, like at least once every few months, where I'm like, I go to a vending machine and like there's just like change spilling out of it. And I'm like, what? Free money.
You just really want free.
And I'm just
free
gonna
vending.
hear. I'm just gonna hear the coins. I'm gonna be like, this is great. I'm just gonna be getting
I never
rewarded
wanna
for
wake up.
continuing to dream. Yeah.
I can buy so many bags of Doritos now from here with free coins.
I don't
Lots
know,
of laundry.
I'm not going to say I'm fully into it or whatever, I like the alarm clock that I have, but I can see how I could have a second one and it might be complementary in some way. Yeah, I don't know, but I also don't know how much I want to like. See, I like decorating my apartment and like having video game stuff in my like living room area. I don't know that I want to have all that stuff like all over
A
like,
red,
in my bedroom and all that
red
kind of
ball.
stuff. Yeah, like I don't know.
Oh, you don't have Pokemon sheets like I do?
I don't have Pokemon sheets. No.
Hey, we
don't.
we got we got Mario pillowcases, so
Nice.
and Pokemon pillowcases and Zelda ones and Star Wars ones. We have multiple pillowcases that just made actually. They're nice.
There you go. No room is sacred when it comes to Nintendo products.
Well, I mean, for our house, we wanted to have toys in every room, and actually, I wanted to have a theme where there's a thing in every room because I have about 1 million thing toys. So every room has a thing.
A thing theme
has a thing in it, has a thing toy. So
Nice.
except for I guess the bathroom. I guess the bathrooms don't have the thing in them,
better get on it.
but they could.
You need like a thing toilet paper holder where he's like has hands up like this.
I would buy one if one existed. Actually, if it was thing holding the toilet paper. I mean, we have that weird Rick and Morty one that Darren and Jessica got us for our wedding, where it's like pickle Rick holding toilet paper. we have that one, which is pretty amazing. So
Nice.
yeah, so we do have a thing like that, but not the thing. No, what I thought was funny about the trailer, also like speaking about what you're saying about with the sun waking you up or whatever. I mean, obviously she's a heavy sleeper because like she's asleep and the sun is like pelting on her face and like her whole fucking room is lit up by the sun. But what she needed was Jump Up Superstar. That was the only thing that would have woken her up.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they should use this for for people in comas. They can
They should have brought back
Jump Up Superstar, and they will be ready to go and brush their teeth or whatever they want to do.
They should have brought back the rooftop party person from the original Switch ad.
Oh, right.
Karen.
The alarm goes off, and then she runs over to the
She doesn't
party.
sleep. She's still rooftop partying all day long.
Yeah, bring Karen back. Her hair's like all white now because it's been so long.
Yeah, her Nintendo is like all weathered and beaten.
Yeah, because she forgot to take it down. It's been outside for years. It's been rained on. It's been weathered technically or literally.
Wow. I followed Karen for a bit on Instagram. I don't know whatever happened to her.
I remember that.
She went like
maybe
she came out and was like, "Hey, I'm the one everyone's calling Karen. That's not really my name. Stop calling me Karen, please." And that was I don't know. I think Karen was on its way to becoming
The thing.
the insult it has become now, but I
Yeah.
don't think it was quite there. I wonder how much had to do with the Switch ad.
It was
Maybe
all her fault.
I'm gonna do a video essay about the source of Karen. I'll go back to that Switch ad.
Do
So I'm
it.
wondering, like, what's the strategy behind Alarmo? Because it is such a left field thing. Like, is Nintendo?
It's just Nintendo being Nintendo. They
Well-
think you don't sleep enough, or
Well,
don't wake
like-
up well enough, or whatever.
Okay, we all know they're trying to branch out and do other things. They're doing the movies and theme parks and all that.
They finished
Is this-
out the museum. They're like, "There's this one empty space. What are we gonna put there?"
A clock.
They don't know what time it is. That was just for the museum. They just said, "Oh, we'll put it out."
All right, we
everywhere."
have to
Why
make
not?
this product that way we can display it in the museum. We should sell it retail, so it's legit.
I mean, didn't like the Game and Watch like even have an alarm on it? Like, hasn't this gone back like years?
The newest
and years
one
and
did,
years?
yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I think some of the older ones did too. And there is like
Yeah. They
so
left it off the Mario one, but it's on the Zelda one.
there is like a clock that you can get. Yeah, there was a clock on the Zelda one that had an alarm. So I mean,
Oh man,
Nintendo's been
And it
doing
had
this
its
for a
own
while.
display case,
they
aka
could have
the
called
cardboard
it
that came in.
the sleeping clock.
Yeah,
I think there's one on this. I mean, you can buy alarms on the Switch too.
You can.
Or you could have. You remember? I remember there was like an alarm you could get or that you could use for Ring Fit, where like that one light on your Pro controller would glow that you didn't know was there.
I think DS and 3DS both had clocks that you could get.
Oh yeah, no, they did for sure. So I mean, this is a long time coming. It's just selling it as just a clock. now.
It's the clock that watches you while you sleep.
Yep, that too. And maybe Nintendo wants to know. They want to know what games you dream about while you're asleep. You know, they already send you survey after survey after survey, but they want to know what you do in your sleep. It is kind of the motion sensing camera thing is.
Imagine if
creepy.
Sony made this to be like Call of Duty alarms. It's like gunfire.
Get down.
Potentially waking you up. The mortars start in the distance, and they get closer and closer.
Could you imagine waking up to Days Gone? It's coming out soon. Remake, or whatever, re-release. No, it's like actual Sony stuff. It's like Astrobot.
Nathan Drake will jump across your face.
He will climb on you, because that's all he does is climb and shoot.
What other home products should be Nintendo-fied?
I want a Nintendo toothbrush.
Yeah. Isn't there a Pokemon brush or something like that? Wasn't there?
There was supposed to be Pokemon Smile, an app, but I don't know
That's
if it.
right.
I don't know if it ever came out. But it was supposed to be like a toothbrushing app. I totally would have played it, but I don't think it came out. I don't know, either that or I stopped caring.
I need a Nintendo dishwasher that just like gives me points for like unloading it and loading it and stuff like that, so that I don't just use it as a place to store clean dishes.
Or like a Nintendo
Nice.
vacuum. A
There
Kirby
you go.
Kirby vacuum.
Kirby vacuum.
Make a
I
little
like Kirby
Kirby.
vacuum. Little Roomba Kirby going around your house, sucking things up.
It
Yeah.
levels up every time you reach 1 pound of hair.
I mean, we already have a little Roomba thing that I barely use, but we have one.
I want to link Alexa that just makes grunting noises at you.
It makes like death sounds when you spend money.
I miss the old Wii animation whenever you spend money on the eShop and it would show Mario collect your coins. Like they need to bring that back, because that was like exactly. It's like
That taught me about commerce.
Here's Mario taking your money. Literally, we're showing it to you on the TV, just so you can know that we are taking your money you're giving to us, which I will not be giving to them for Alarmo. I mean, it's $100. You can buy it on the Nintendo Switch Online right now, like through the website. And I guess you can buy it from the New York store, and it'll be maybe available to regular stores next year. I think some people reported that wrongly. I saw that. They said it was coming out next year, but you can
Is this
actually
one of
get
those
it
things
now.
like 5 years from
That's
now
right.
we'll be like, damn it, I wish I bought Alarmo because it's selling for like $800.
You know it.
Well,
I mean, I'm certain
yeah.
of it.
I mean, if you want to invest in it and keep it sealed or whatever and not actually use it, then sure, yeah, maybe it'll probably be worth something. I was just talking to completely unrelated. I was just talking on the wrestling stream to Joe and Logan about because I guess they're ending Rampage, the show on Friday for AEW. They're getting rid of it.
Oh shit!
And the first time I went to a Rampage show, they were selling Rampage T-shirts, and I was like, I don't need one. And then I never saw that shirt ever again. And now I want that shirt, and now they're ending Rampage, so I'll never get it. And I even looked online. Well, I looked on the AEW website, and they don't have it. But I was like, man, I should have got that stupid fucking Rampage shirt. Why did I not get it? Because now you never will be able to get it.
Can you get it through?
I could
did
probably
you say they make the shirts near your house or whatever? Maybe they have the file.
You can make like
the 1 hour
copy,
tees.
yeah.
Well, 1 hour
Yeah.
tees, they actually do work with AEW. So if you order an AEW shirt through, or if you order AEW shirts, you can pick them up at the 1 hour tees, and you don't have to pay shipping and all that. But I don't know if
would they do a
I don't know. I don't know if they have the old
yeah.
graphic of Rampage when it first came out, like however many years ago. But Alarmo. It's.
I'm probably going to get this at some point. I mean, I just like the weird Nintendo stuff.
Yeah,
I will never have
Not
it.
that I need one.
I mean,
but
you have the Mario, you have the remote control or whatever it is. You have the Mario Kart
cars.
remote control game, so you'll buy this when it's $20 at Target or whatever, probably whenever it goes
Probably.
down.
Yep.
I just have questions about how far you need to be away from the bed for it to stop talking to you, or like, because I don't like get out of bed. Like I'll get up and then I'll check like my news feed or whatever for a couple minutes, and then I'll get out of bed. I don't like spring out and be like, or do the hilarious wake up acting that I don't do this, or I'm like every day.
I do the triple jump and do a front flip every morning.
Nice.
I triple
The
jump.
ta-da at the
Well,
end.
not since I hurt my leg. I've only been able to do a somersault.
I triple jump through the window and impale myself on the fence outside.
Well,
I
that's
can
one
do
way
that
to
to the
establish
sound of Wake Up
boundaries.
Superstar.
Also, I wouldn't wake up to Wake Up Superstar. I kind of got annoyed by that song pretty quickly. At least they don't
Yeah.
play it as much. I mean, now there's some nostalgia for it maybe, and it's not constantly.
They didn't show it, but I wonder if it's got like the Guardians thing from Breath of the Wild, where you're like, like the music starts playing slowly, like you're about to get.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I hope so. It's got
That,
to.
that could be a
When the
pretty-
laser eye opens on the
Uh-huh.
alarm clock,
Uh-huh.
chases you out of your.
That'd be a good idea.
Like it starts making the sound, you got to roll over.
Somebody will get it somewhere, I'm sure.
I don't know. Something about this seems like it would be hackable. Maybe someone's going to do something fun with it. But I mean, ultimately, it's like
You can hack it and put a bunch of
I
Super
think you were
Nintendo
saying
games on it.
you were saying something to the effect, John. It's like Nintendo's version of Alexa. When it all comes down to it, it's like maybe it doesn't have a microphone or something. It probably does. It's just Alexa by a different name with Nintendo branding on it.
I think the strategy is just to get Nintendo in other rooms of your home. Like you remember back in the day, like Microsoft, for instance, like when they were doing web TV, and they were like, we want to put the computer in the living room.
I say we had web TV. That's how we got on the internet when I was in high school.
Oh, yeah,
I remember that. I think
We'll do the web TV episode eventually.
I never had. I didn't have web TV.
We had web TV and web TV Plus eventually.
I have web TV now. It's called a smart TV.
I actually teased my brother and told him
you have web TV.
We were gonna get rid of him and get his name's Will. We were like, well, after we got web TV Plus, I'm like, we're gonna get rid of you and get Will Plus, and he actually believed me and got like really upset.
Oh no.
Anyway, yeah, Alarmo, not getting it, but somebody will, I'm sure. John will whenever it's on sale at Target.
It'll be me.
So,
nephews around the world.
Let's start the show as we normally do and talk about games that we got and games that we've been playing. You got I don't know who wants to start. You have Echoes of Wisdom now, John. I guess we could talk about that game.
I do have Echoes of Wisdom now, and I've played probably I don't say maybe 3 or 4 hours of it. Maybe 3 hours. I basically just got to the first dungeon. So I'm not real deep into it.
Have you done any of the whatever you call it? Have you done any of the sneaking around stuff? Because I didn't. I had a hard time with that when I got to it. The stealth stuff. Have you got to that yet?
Yeah, there was just basically like the introductory stealth stuff, but I haven't done any stealth beyond that.
Well, there's this whole part where you have to I guess they teach you how to make like a little table or whatever. Mm-hmm. And you have those. I guess I was doing it wrong. I found out later that you could jump in the pots and move around inside of the pots. Did you do that?
I did not do that.
Because I was having the hardest time with the stealth part. I mean, I just hate stealth in games in general. But it was really annoying.
But you loved Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater.
I do. But you know what you can do in Metal Gear Solid 3? You can just kill motherfuckers. You can go, and there's plenty of parts in that game where you can go full Rambo and just shoot a bunch of people. Yeah, I was in it for the story. But also, yeah, no, I kind of had a hard time with that one, but it's really not that. There's not that much of it.
It's not very long.
And you do have to do it later. Like I got to the part where you have to do it all over again, but in reverse, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. But I did. I got to the part where the game kind of like becomes Echoes of Wisdom. You know, where it kind of opens up, where you get a different outfit. Mm-hmm. You don't have to wear your shawl anymore. You don't have to wear the hood. Zelda kind of has this cool like. Looks like she's wearing like Aladdin pants or whatever, or MC Hammer pants, whenever you were born, whatever you think they are, like the big poofy pants. But it kind of looks like the design of the pink dress, but it's pants and a shirt, and it's kind of cool. And
it's just casual.
I think I just made it up to myself, but I was like, I think you move faster when you get a different outfit, but I don't think that's true. I think I just thought that. But yeah, I played it pretty often over the weekend. I've made it through 4 dungeons now, 4 actual dungeons, I guess. Oh. I guess I didn't count that first dungeon. I thought it was just the intro because I did.
How do you feel the dungeons are stacking up?
So I've done because there's like 3, and then I listened to IGN's episode where they said there's like 3, and then it changes. So I was like, oh well, let's get to the 3. There's 3, and then you go back to the castle, and the castle's like another dungeon. So that's like 4. Yeah. That I've been through, and I'm almost to the 5th one. I'm in the snow area where I found this big Yeti guy that's been walking around. But it's fun. It's it feels like Zelda, but it also doesn't feel like Zelda. It's it's a little bit. It's there and it's not, and I'm still not really sure of exactly how I feel about Link mode. How you can just turn into Link sometimes. To me, it kind of feels like. You'll try to fight guys with the mechanic that it gives you, where it wants you to throw dudes at them or whatever. And basically when you get frustrated by that, turn into Link and just kill him. That's basically what happens with me. It's like your Moblin isn't throwing the spear quick enough. Well, you just got to turn into Link and go over and kill the guy. But I try to do as much as I can with the mechanics that are in the game. But I almost kind of wish that the Link ability just wasn't there. That they would have just got rid of that.
That Zelda could
completely.
Just kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let you just use the mechanics of throwing enemies at them and then make it a little bit more responsive or something like that. Because there's a lot of bosses where I just use the link ability to kill them, because it feels like you have to. Because otherwise, how do you do that? Like, the regular thing you would do in a Zelda game where you stun the boss and then you have to attack them really quickly while they're stunned. It's like there's not really any way to do that. But I did finally get the P hat, which is what I didn't know what it was called. I was talking about it last week with John. That's the big circle thing with the spikes that you've probably seen in like every trailer for this game. And that thing is great because that can knock a lot of stuff down. And I did get a higher level of the Borblin that I was talking about last week, because I had the Borblin Shield Club guy, which was my favorite guy, but I got one that has a sword and a metal shield now, so he can attack even harder and defend even harder, or whatever. But no, I still like it a lot. I really like the design of it. I like the toyetic, the way the characters are made. I think they look cool. I got to the part where you get to unite the two Zoras, which I thought that was really fun. I like that they, even though they claim it's not canon, which who really cares? They do actually. It is canon because they're basically uniting the Zoras from Ocarina of Time and the Zoras from A Link to the Past, because they're very, very different in design. And now they say that it's because they're from different parts of the world, and that's why they're different. Because there's River Zoras and there's Sea Zoras. So the Zoras from the sea are the nice-looking ones from Ocarina of Time, and the ones from the river are the assholes that attack you when you walk past the river in A Link to the Past. But there's this whole thing where you have to like summon Jabu Jabu, and they have to like play a song together, and you have to get them to like cooperate to play the song, and it's this whole thing of you uniting the Zora clans and all that, and that was cool. I like that.
Nice.
I wanted to see how the Gorons look, because I haven't really done Gorons in a 2D space like this, but I thought they were going to be. I thought I was going towards the Gorons, but I ended up with the Sasquatch guy, so I don't know. But no, I mean, I like it still. It's, I've heard a lot of people talk about like the performance and all that, and it is noticeable, but that stuff doesn't bother me. So it hasn't really been an issue to me. You can see that it kind of chugs a little bit, but not to the point of where it's like slowed down, or it's slowed down enough to like affect the gameplay or anything like that for me. I mean, maybe when you can throw more guys out at once, it might get framier. I don't know. But I still only have like four ability or whatever they call it, four triangles of throwing guys out. So you can only do like maybe 2 or 3 if you're using whatever.
Yeah,
but in the snow world, they did start bringing in the weather effects from like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, which is pretty cool. So you have to drink a potion that like warms you up, or you can like summon one like the fire choo-choo or whatever it's called, and you can carry that around and that'll keep you warm. Like it's similar to like what you could do in Breath of the Wild, like how you could light a stick on fire and hold that, and that would make you warm.
Yeah, I'm noticing that, and that feels really refreshing for the 2D Zeldas, just the way that it is blending in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, the chemistry and the weather and all that kind of stuff. That's pretty cool.
But I'm about like 15 hours in. It finally showed me the amount of hours. And John finally unveiled your secret amount of hours, so I got to see him yesterday. He must have accidentally undid it.
Oh, no, I did it on purpose. I was poking around because I was checking out if there's any differences for the system update that came. We got a 19.0 even number system update.
I forgot about that already.
Seems like general stability again, all that kind of stuff. I haven't really looked in to see if anybody found anything interesting about it, but I was digging around to see if I could notice anything, and that's when I noticed that, and I changed it back. So, yep, everybody can see what I'm doing.
Well, we can see what you did, what you have done. We can always see what you're doing, but I can see the past. I can't see your 500 hours or whatever you have on Breath of the Wild. It's pretty high. It was like 470 or something like that.
450 right now. Yeah.
It was 400
on Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah.
Dang.
Oh yeah. And once you get the different outfit for Zelda, you can scan Amiibo to unlock new outfits. So I haven't done that yet, but I want to see what the other outfits are. So, and from what I heard, it's just any of the Zelda ones. Like they all kind of work the same. I guess it's not like you get a specific one for whoever, and there's only a certain amount. So I have to try that at some point. But keep playing it. It's very good.
Yeah, I like it. I haven't sunk my teeth into it really. I think, well, in part because of the other game I was playing this week, but then also I'm almost feeling like don't want to get backed up on Zeldas too. Like I'm glad that I bought this one when I did, so I could try it a little bit and be in on the conversation and everything.
This one's much shorter than Breath of the Wild, though. I figured you could
Tears
beat
of the
this
Kingdom,
one and
yeah.
then go back to Tears of the Kingdom. Because it's, I mean, from what I heard, it's like 20 hours, and I'm already 15 in. But I never, I never beat it as quick as people say it is. Like, how long to beat is total shit. I mean, I mean, I like that website and I look at it all the time, but I've never liked that. Like, I looked at, what was that? I looked at the amount of time for Bakaru, where it's like you can get through it in 9 hours. It took me like 30 hours to get through that game.
Well, I think the general audience for a website called How Long to Beat is people
maybe they're all
who, like,
speed running it or something.
who really want to rush through and yeah.
Well, I 100%ed it.
Things,
So,
I think.
Yeah, I mean, I 100%ed it. So maybe I should have looked at like the full 100% amount. But it always seems to be wrong for me. Like I always take about twice the time of whatever it is it says that people get through the game on, at least, It's like where people are like, "Oh yeah, I beat Paper Mario Thousand Year Door in 30 hours, and I'm at like 40 hours on the game, and I'm like halfway through." It's like, what? But yeah, tell everybody about the other game that you've been playing instead of like Echoes of Wisdom.
I've been back playing Atari 50 because I got the DLC last week, and so where I'd left off on Atari 50 before, a year or so ago when I actually got the game first, there's the timeline, and there was some kind of bug in the timeline, at least I thought there was, where it wasn't showing me that I had completed something 100%. It'll tell you, you've completed this section of the timeline 57% or 28%, whatever. And annoyingly, the third section of the game, it was stuck at 98%. And I'm like, I don't want to keep going until I do it all in chronological order. It's a timeline. I want to do it in the right order and,
Right.
check things off. It's just the, an OCD part of my brain, I guess. I couldn't get beyond it until I figured out where that stupid 2% was. And I just went back and I, again, went through every single thing in that whole section. I basically did the whole section 2 or 3 times, and it would not count to 100%. So I basically put the game down in frustration because I couldn't move beyond that. And then now, a year and a half or so later, inspired by the DLC, I was like, well, I need to really figure this out. And so I just went through and I again clicked every thing on the timeline to try and count to 100%. What I determined was that the game, well, say you as you're selecting something, as you're selecting a video in particular, you click once, it'll give you the brief description of the video. Then you click a second time, it gives you a more detailed description of what you're about to watch. And then you click a third time and you actually are watching the video, right? And so when you do that, it doesn't necessarily check it off. You'll have to click once and then hit back, and then it'll check it off. So it's like, I don't know if you'd call it a bug or just a weird design choice or whatever.
I'd call it both.
That's weird.
Yeah, I think it's kind of both. So I found the one video and finally checked it off and got to 100%. And then I was, from then on, sure to do exactly that, just to make sure I was counting to 100% on the remaining timeline. So I got through all of the base game, and I did it in a matter of a total of about 10 hours. That's counting the time that I spent before. But the way that I approached it this time was, I said, I'm going to kind of approach this kind of like a mini series, like a TV mini series from back in the day. You watch 2 hours tonight, 2 hours the next night. And then I thought that was the best way to do it. So if you have this game, I think in order to get a full appreciation, like you're ready to immerse yourself 2 hours at a time to really experience every timeline. Sometimes I would do half the timeline, but I wanted to make sure I was like, giving it a documentary length each time that I approached the game. And I felt like doing so, I really was able to like dig in and experience every corner of the game, look at all the supplementary files, the photos, watch every movie, and certainly play every game. Some of them I would just pop in and see what it was like, and then pop back out about 2-3 minutes later. Others that I really got hooked on and gave it a good amount of time. But I have to say, after doing that for 4 or 5 nights in a row, by the time I finally finished the game, I felt like a real appreciation for Atari and for everything that they did. And it just, I don't know, it gave me this warm and fuzzy feeling, as I told you guys over Slack. I felt like, I felt good at the end of it. I felt like I experienced something, the flip side of something that I had experienced as a kid. As a kid enjoying Atari, enjoying ColecoVision and that whole era of video games. But to get this, to feel like I was, there in the trenches in the office at Atari with these guys, these women, these people who were making the games, it was such a full experience. I felt like this whole package is just a full, complete meal for anyone who loves video games. Like, dig in, eat up. This is one of the most memorable gaming experiences that I've ever had. I think for that reason, just like it's such a love letter to the whole video game industry, to video game fans even. There's nothing, like, I really can't complain other than that one little bug. This is like a 10 out of 10 experience for me. I loved it.
And the DLC is worth it.
DLC is worth it.
I mean, it was like $8, right? Well, you got both
the package
of them,
with
which
two
I think
for
ended up
15.
being 15.
Yeah. So the second, only one of the 2 DLC has come out so far, but the one that has come out, it's called The Wider World of Atari. And my only critique on that is, like, well, the base game was a complete experience. Like, it was a story told from beginning to end. And so this DLC really couldn't feel like, it feels like the DVD extras. I mean, that's kind of what it is. That's what DLC is anyway. DLC is extras, right? But parts of it I felt like could have been inserted into the timeline, and maybe that would have been better. I don't know. About half of the wider world of Atari is like games that they didn't include for whatever reason, that were of the era. Then the other half is fan mods, new games that fans have made in the meantime. And I understand that being a whole separate thing. I think putting it in one package, calling it the wider world of Atari, like, maybe that would have been appropriate for just the fan games and the games that have come out since that era. But the fact that they put half games that were available in that era, just kind of like, all right, I don't know if that fits the theme of wider world of Atari. It's like that was of the era, but maybe just doing those couple of games wouldn't have felt like a full package, so they just put it all together. They also went into they did an interview with a woman named Evelyn Sato who helped to design the Atari logo, and it's like, that's something that could have been, that was of the era, obviously. That could have been in the main package, but here it's in the DLC, the bonus extras. Okay, cool. Maybe it was just a matter of being neat and organized, like, rather than throwing things into the timeline. And folks are like, hey, where'd that stuff go that I just bought? I kind of get that, I guess. But maybe some of those things could have been thrown in the timeline as well, and then you could see it in the further context laid out chronologically. That would have been cool. Again, it's a minor gripe, because I felt like the DLC was totally worth it and really cool. Some cool stuff in there. Certainly the major focus of the DLC, as far as any one game, is Berserk. There's there must be, I think there's like 4 different versions of Berserk in there. For the 2600, the 5800, there's a mod that somebody did that adds the voice synthesis that was in the arcade game to the Atari version. And then there's, of course, the main Atari game, the main arcade game of Berserk. And that game is really fun. I don't know if you guys played that game recently, or it's been a while since I played it. It just strikes me how it feels like a modern shooting game, but obviously in this like 2D top-down kind of format. You played that recently?
I haven't played it recently, but I played. I'm trying to remember that game I played with Dan at.
Was it Frenzy?
It wasn't Frenzy, but it reminded me of Berserker, because you were moving with one stick and the other stick controlled your, like, shooting the direction of your bullets, which is kind of how Berserker works, right?
Berserk, yeah.
Or Berserk, right?
Yep.
Not Berserker. That's from Clerks.
Yeah, it's also I think it's the anime too. Is that Berserker? I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, it's a fun game. a lot of those games I did end up playing a little longer than I thought I would have. There was one called Aqua Venture, which was a prototype that was never released, and it's basically kind of like a rudimentary Dan the Diver or Dave the Diver, not Dan, not our friend Dan the Diver, Dave the Diver. It's like that, but it's on Atari. You just dive down and shoot fish, grab the treasure at the bottom of the ocean. Played that for a good 20 minutes or so. And then another one was called Save Mary. I think it's called Save Mary. It was kind of a unique and fun puzzle game from late in the life cycle of the 2600 from 1990, where Mary is at the bottom of a pit and you have to lower these crates down so that she can climb her way out. I thought that was pretty fun. It does make mention of Nintendo about halfway through that timeline, that particular timeline, where it says, this is the point where 1985 Nintendo revived the home video game industry, and Atari still plugged along and did their best and all that. And so it's just interesting to see the later stage Atari 2600 games, which by then, certainly I was full bore on the NES. And, if you ever went to some kid's house and the 2600 was their main system at that point, you felt bad for them. But it was just cool to see the later stage Atari games and get a chance to really dig in on those, because some of those were pretty fun, actually. So, yeah, I beat the wider world of Atari, and now I anxiously await the other DLC, which is coming next month.
Yeah, November.
That's going to be in November, yeah. That's going to be the Intellivision games, I believe. I think it's called the First Console War. So that leads me to believe it's just going to be the Intellivision games, which Atari recently bought. Intellivision games.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad you're enjoying that DLC.
It's really fun.
I was going to say, I could just say the other thing that I have, because I don't have that much else. Aside from Echoes of Wisdom, I've been playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, because that's kind of the one that that's the one I don't remember as much, I guess, because I didn't get it when it came out. I remember Jeremy got it when it was released, and I just played your copy. And
that was the first one that had basically where you interacted with people, right?
Yeah,
you got off the board, right?
No, you can't get off the board. You can't get off the board until Underground. But you can, but it's like an open world design where you walk around and talk to people, and they give you specific goals, and that's how you do
around.
It. Yeah, well, I guess you don't walk because you can't get off the board. But you skate.
They added skitching.
Yeah, you can. There is a lot of skitching stuff. Like last night, I was doing this one mission where you basically have to skitch an elephant for like 30 seconds, and it sounds like not that hard, but it's really hard. And while you're sketching the elephant, it'll keep pooping on you. There'll be these big giant elephant poops that fly at you, and when they fly at you, your sketch meter gets messed up. So you have to kind of you might be in the middle, and then you get hit by the poop, and then it goes all the way to the left. And if it goes all the way to the left or the right, you fall off, and then you have to start all over again. And it was just like so stupid, but kind of irritating. And I was trying to count it to myself because I swore that their 30 seconds was like way slower than regular 30 seconds. But I did it. It wasn't that bad. But I just wanted to play through it because it's, of all the Tony Hawks that I played that I liked, that's probably the one I don't remember as much. Because like I said, I didn't buy it when it came out. I played Jeremy's copy of it. But actually, weird thing about Tony Hawk 4 history for me. When I went to Columbia in 2002, I'm sure you remember this, John. They had a deal on Emacs, through Columbia, where you could get them for cheaper. Yeah. So my mom bought me an Emac for Christmas, probably 2002 or 2003, and it came with Tony Hawk 4. Tony Hawk 4 was packaged onto the Emac
on the Mac
because of whatever graphics card it was using. And I thought it was really weird that Tony Hawk 4 was just on the computer, and I never really thought of it. But then I looked it up later, and it was included because of the graphics card that was on there. So I played it on my computer a lot, and that was, I played on my Mac when I had it, my original eMac. And then eventually it crashed, and I had to reboot it, and Tony Hawk was deleted, and I could never get it back on there. So eventually I bought the GameCube version of Tony Hawk 4, and I bought it around the time that Jess and I had first started dating. So I actually made a character of Jess to play as on the game. And when I booted it up again, it said that file was corrupted, and I couldn't use that one. but my career was still in there, just not the create a skater. So for the fun of it, I just made like another new Jess character, and that got corrupted too. so it was like corrupted Jess. But basically, I made enough money so I could unlock Django, and that's how my what I was saying about dueling Django's earlier is because I've been playing Star Wars Bounty Hunter with Jango Fett, the story of Jango Fett, and I've also been playing as Jango Fett in Tony Hawk 4 because he was an unlockable character. And this always bugged me, and I was going to mention it again on here. So, like, Tony Hawk 3, we have Darth Maul in there. You can play as Darth Maul from Episode 1. Great. Like, he's really fun to play as. And in Tony Hawk 3, when you're selecting the characters, like, different things will happen to the skateboard guy in the background, like in the skateboard shop. So, like, when you become Darth Maul, he starts getting force choked in the background, like, while you're playing as Darth Maul. And there's, like, a Satan character where he, like, catches on fire. Like, there's all these funny stuff that happens. So you get to play as Darth Maul. And then the next game, Tony Hawk 4, you get to play as Django from Episode 2. Cool. They never did anybody from Episode 3. I was so mad. I was like, why don't we can't play as General Grievous or Anakin or Palpatine or whatever? I was like, they just kind of stopped there. And we didn't have an Episode 3 bonus character for Tony Hawk Underground 1 and 2. What the fuck, guys? I mean, I know like now it's owned by Disney or whatever, and you can't have fun with the Star Wars characters anymore, but back in the day you could. And Django has some fun moves. Like you can grind while you're shooting with your guns. You can shoot people while you're grinding. Like that's fun. Or you can do like a thing where you use your rocket pack while like as a grab. Like so you can jump and then rocket pack even higher and then spin around and land and revert and all that stuff. So it's fun.
Nice.
It's fun to play as Jango Fett on Tony Hawk 4.
Did you see there's some Tony Hawk news this week?
I saw it was the 20th anniversary of Tony Hawk Underground 2. I put that in the notes. 20 years for the last Tony Hawk Underground 2 was the first one where I was like, okay, I don't really like this game. But Tony Hawk Underground 2 fell under it basically became like Jackass CKY the game. Like it fell under the popularity of Bam Margera and it was
Steve-O and all that. Yep.
Yeah, well, and also it was they got too obsessed with vehicles that aren't skateboarding. Like a lot of it is finding vehicles to drive around. So they kind of lost their sight on actual skateboarding. And you can drive a car in Underground. You know, that was part of the idea, was that it was like an open world game like GTA, you know, but you could skateboard. But I really liked Underground 1 because it still had a focused story about you trying to become like a pro skater, you know, and you get and like your journey through that, like through becoming, you know, through actually doing like competitions and stuff like that and trying to make your name known as a professional skateboarder. But 2 was just like, let's just be really weird. Let's just ride mechanical bulls and like all this other shit. And Bam Margera's parents are in here and they're playable. And it's like, what? Like, what happened, Tony Hawk? What happened to you? Why do we have to be CKY the game? Like, really? But yeah.
Well, on that note, someone actually made their own Tony Hawk Underground 2. They made like their own fan take on the game, and it's out this week.
Can you ride a bull? Can you ride a mechanical bull?
Well, the trailer was pretty. I think
it's Bam Margera's dad.
I don't think there's any Bam Margera in there, but Spider-Man was in there. Wolverine was in there.
They weren't in Underground 2. Spider-Man was in Tony Hawk 2, and Wolverine was in Tony Hawk 3.
Well, check it out. It's called Rethawed, and it's out now.
I hate that word.
Thawed or rethawed?
Just anytime people put like a prefix before thawed, I don't know. It bothers me.
Like thawed, like as in like it was frozen and it's not frozen.
Yeah,
and it's supposed to be on.
It was thawed once, and now it's being thawed again. Is that what's bothering you? Because you can't thaw something that's already thawed.
Pretty much.
I mean, you could, but you shouldn't. You could like refreeze it and rethaw it or whatever, but don't.
You could.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to, or you shouldn't.
No.
What is it? What is it for? Steam or another thing that like no one cares about?
It's a fan. I imagine it must be for PC. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't look at it.
Watch that trailer because you might be interested.
I mean, I never play anything on my computer, so I'm not interested. But I mean, I'll see if it's silly enough to be. I guess the only good thing about Tony Hawk Underground 2 is that they realized that people were missing the old school design of Tony Hawk, so they did actually include a classic mode on there where you can play like the levels in 2-minute increments and get like skate and get like pro score and like secret tapes and stuff like that. So I guess that was the good thing about it. But I was just looking through all of my Tony Hawk games, and I have all of them. I guess I never bought American Skateland or Wasteland or whatever it was called on GameCube because I had it on DS and I really liked the DS version. But you can get it for like $20. I thought about getting it just to play it. And what was it? Project 8. I never played that one either. But apparently that one wasn't great. But that was like the last one before like Tony Hawk Ride or whatever. But I might have got Project 8 on DS also later. I don't remember. I'd have to look at my DS ones, but you can get those for not that expensive. But Tony Hawk 4 is still pretty fun. Do you remember any of those? Do you remember any of the challenges from that game, Jeremy? Do you remember anything about that game? Aside from the open world design of it?
I just remember it'd be like the photographer would want you to do like a trick or something, or you would.
Well, I guess those were in the other ones, but they were worked into the levels. There was one that I remember you showing me that you really liked. That's still pretty funny when you go to Alcatraz, like the tour guide guy. Do you remember him?
Right.
Where you like sketch on his little car and he like keeps telling you about this other worker that he doesn't like, and then eventually you have to knock him into the water. And yeah, there's these fun like stories in there. Or the Alcatraz one, there's this like prisoner that's like been trying to escape for the past like 20 years, and like you help him get out of the prison, and there's like 3 different goals like based around him. And or like you go to the zoo and there's this elephant that you have to Stompy, probably the one that poops on you later, but that you have to free. And then there's all these like weird goals based around like different characters. One of the ones that I thought was really, really hard, and I was surprised I could get through it. There's like this slalom goal that you have to do where you like go on this like this it's like kind of like, it's like curved, like it's like not a full half pipe. But you like lay on your skateboard. Like there's some levels where you lay on your skateboard and you just like move back and forth and you don't actually do like tricks and stuff. And there's a slalom one where you have to do 3 courses. And the first one's easy, the second one easy. But the second one you have to do these hairpin turns, and it's like really, really hard to do. And I finally did it last night, and I thought that was one of the hardest goals on the thing. Aside from those combo ones are pretty hard to do, where you have to like collect all the combo letters in one combo. But for some reason, high scores are just so easy compared to all the other goals. Like those ones I've gotten like almost every time. It's like which I guess I thought I used to have a hard time with that. I don't know. Whenever I end up beating this one or get tired of whatever, I want to go back to Tony Hawk 3 and see if I can blow through it. Because I used to play it all the time, but I was never really that good at the high scores at the time. Maybe because I didn't have the proper controller, and I've been playing it with my Hori controller that looks like a Super Nintendo controller because I always needed a good D-pad for Tony Hawk because I always had a hard time playing it with an analog stick. And I thought about you can actually buy adapters for your GameCube that will actually make it to where it'll work with like 8-bit controllers or like PlayStation 4 controllers or 5 controllers or whatever. And I looked into getting one of those maybe in the future. But yeah, it's basically a thing that you hook onto the front of your GameCube that just has the 4 controllers, and it's just like a sensor. And you can just connect your controller to it, and then you'll have a wireless controller for your GameCube. It works they have ones for Dreamcast as well. Because I was looking into seeing if there was a way that I could make my leverless controller work with like GameCube, to play. Mostly I wanted to see if I could get it to work with Wii so I could play Tatsunoko versus Capcom with it. So I was kind of looking out there. But you can, there's things you can get where you can have your wireless controllers connect with GameCube and all that. And
that Wavebird's not working anymore?
I don't like. I told you for Tony Hawk stuff, I need a bigger D-pad. The D-pad is really tiny, so the Wavebird is not sufficient for Tony Hawk. I don't like using the analog stick for it because it's not as accurate. But yeah, I unlocked all the levels. I got through the slalom level. I saved Stompy, who ended up pooping on me later. But the Stompy level is funny. It's like you basically have to destroy all of these animal traps before he gets from one side to the level, one side of the level to the other. I don't know. Hopefully they re-release 4 so everybody can play it again because it's kind of a weird ass game, but it's fun for what it is. And I still think they should remake Underground 1, which I'm planning on playing that one as well. And it's like they all had like I said, the different Marvel characters. Spider-Man was in 2, Wolverine was in 3, and then I thought Iron Man was in 4, but Iron Man's actually in 5. In Underground, which I consider 5. Because they had Project 8, which was 8, so they considered it 5 as well. So whatever. But yeah, Tony Hawk on GameCube, really sticking with the times here. I'm saying you should hook up your GameCube, John. It's fun to play old games. I'm playing it I'm playing it through the component cable. Well, I'm playing it through my Wii, so I have it like through the component 480p or whatever. And it actually has a 16:9 mode, so I've been playing it on my TV, and it actually looks all right. Like with the 16:9 mode, it actually doesn't look squished or whatever. So I think it looks pretty good for and in progressive scan as well, the old progressive scan. But that's what I've been doing. Do you want to take a break and then we'll come back and talk about Jeremy's stuff in the news?
Sure, sounds good.
All right, let's take a break and then we'll come back and do the rest of the show. Stay tuned.
Hey, you.
It's me, Mario.
Yeah, you. Subscribe to our Patreon to hear our bonus shows, which happen every month.
I'm tired.
Tired of all the big corporate podcasts spoon-feeding you the same old video game news on every single show?
Spaghetti. Ravioli.
Then expand!
With NintenDomain Expansion Pack.
It's us talking about old games that were important to us. It's us interviewing people that we meet at conventions. And heck, it's live shows from those same conventions. It's basically everything you could want that NintenDomain ever made.
Here we go!
And it's just $1 a month.
That's less than a bad indie on the eShop.
It's $12 a year, which is less than Nintendo Switch Online.
Thank you so much for subscribing to our Patreon and supporting NintenDomain.
Just go to patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast and, hey, Mario, let go. Whoa! He's throwing us back to the show.
So long, Bowser.
Patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast.
Game over.
We're back from the break. What have you been doing, Jeremy? Are you recovering well? As last week we talked about your accident.
Yeah, I've been recovering well.
Cleanup.
Hopefully getting back to work this week. But I'm back to getting around mostly without crutches. I bring one along with me when I drive somewhere just in case, because I'm going to end up walking a lot more.
Oh, you're driving places?
Well, I can drive because it's my left leg that's been fucked up.
Oh, I figured you just hadn't left the house.
No. I've been driving since I can't really do much. Shauna's kind of been dispatching me to run errands during the day and stuff, which makes sense because I can do that.
Oh, sure.
So also, I like being in the car, as I was explaining to her, because I can move really fast, which I've been kind of annoyed that I can't move very quickly on my feet. So when I get in a car, zoom.
The car goes fast. The car goes fast for you.
So it takes me right where I need to go, usually. I took our wedding license or our marriage license in the other day, and I parked in the wrong spot and I had to walk a bunch, and that sucked. But, you just learn not to take these things for granted, like walking.
Yeah. Yeah, you really think about that when you can't walk.
When you
very well.
can't walk, I can't get around quick. Yeah, but no, I'm hoping I'll be back to work this week and have an appointment tomorrow to confirm that. Otherwise, though, I've just been kind of. I decided since I couldn't play Echoes yet, I will eventually. But yeah, whenever I get it, I'll play it. But I was like, well, I'm specifically. I was trying to play other games. I'm like, no, I'm specifically in a mood for something whimsical and adventurous and exploratory. And I'm like, I need something special. And I'm like, wait a minute. I finally unsealed my digital copy of Pikmin 3 and started playing Pikmin 3.
I didn't know you had it. Well, I remember you had. Don't you have like a sealed copy of the Wii U one?
I do.
I didn't know you
But
had
I also
it.
but I also bought it. Yeah. I bought it when it was on sale on the Wii U or on the Switch quite a
Yeah.
while ago. And I think I had like a bunch of gold points. I can't remember what the exact thing was, but I just kind of bought it on a whim. And it's just been sitting there digitally sealed until last week. And so I started playing Pikmin 3 finally. And
Cool.
I thought that I had played some of it, but I think it only ever played a demo because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And it's like playing it for the first time. And I've been having a lot of fun with it. It's slow going. I'm playing on easy mode because I don't want to fail while I'm learning how to play it right. But I just got to I rescued the captain and I'm like, where am I at? I'm in like some river or something. And I'm trying to find the stuff that Olimar left behind. And I don't know if in the original was there like the side story in the original one, or is that something they added in deluxe?
I don't know. I thought from what I heard, the deluxe stuff is stuff you get after. Like you get some end game new stuff.
Well, there's like a side story I can play whenever I want, and it's like basically like a challenge level with Olimar and whoever his partner was, and you're just trying to like basically get as many like fruits and stuff as you can before the clock runs out. I think it's like 9 minutes or something.
Louis?
Yeah, Louis. It's like Olimar.
Louis? He was in 2. Is it like the Dandara levels, but they weren't called Dandara? Because there's stuff in Pikmin 4 where you do that, where you go against, you do like competitively, and you have to get a certain amount of points, like from killing bad guys and collecting stuff and making
Basically,
more Pikmin
yes.
or whatever. And it's a multiplayer thing. Well, I guess it's not multiplayer. I mean, it's against the computer, but it's like head to head.
Oh yeah, I'm not against the computer. It's just against the clock.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, though, I've been having a good time with it. I do need to every once in a while. I'll just be like, all right, that's enough, Pikmin. Because I'll get to a part where you have to like throw. Because now that I have 3 characters, I'll get to a spot where I have to throw one character, and then that character throws another character. That stuff just like, I don't know. I just get mentally tired. Look at it. I'm like, oh, I don't want to do all that crap because you got to throw the character and then throw all the Pikmin and then the other character and then throw the other character and then throw all the Pikmin to them. And it just kind of gets old.
Yeah, that was kind of the big thing with 3. And if you ever want to play 4, which I highly recommend, they got rid of all that shit. So you don't have to do that in that one. You don't throw characters in 4.
Nice.
But yeah, because I remember I played through 1 and 2 in anticipation of 4, and by the time I got to 3, I'm like, I'm kind of tired of Pikmin. So I didn't really get all the way through 3. But I loved 4. I mean, I like 3 a lot too. I mean, I played through it on Wii U, and I thought it was really good when it came out. But I'm interested to see what the extra stuff is at the end, because they were saying, "Oh, it's peak Pikmin or whatever."
Yeah.
At the time.
Well, I'm having fun with it. It's exactly what I wanted as far as being whimsical and silly and bright and colorful, and never really have I felt too stressed out. Like I've lost a lot of Pikmin because I've done some pretty dumb shit, but never did I feel like I was gonna like fail the game itself. And I have a lot of, because like I guess in 3 it's just all based on not running out of food, and I have like 2 weeks of food saved up, so it's like I think I've got more food in my, or the juice or whatever. I've got more of that in my inventory than total days I've played in games. So it's like I'm in pretty good shape. So I'm just kind of taking it slow and enjoying all the fruit names, all the charming fruit names. Like I really liked
And
watermelon was Crimson Banquet. I thought that was kind of a cool name for a watermelon.
and how nice everything looks. Like
Oh, yeah,
the
it looks
fruits
amazing.
always look so good in Pikmin.
Mhm.
Like the fruit and the food. Always
And I
looks
love all
great.
the old technology, like you find a flip phone, like, and
Yeah.
that's like an upgrade to the first phone you find, which is like, a brick, like a brick cell phone. Um, it's very charming, yeah. And each level, I think, has enough different going on than the previous that you're getting a cool little setting of like, different biomes or whatever. I just got the flying Pikmin, so I guess that's gonna change some stuff or whatever. It's gonna change the way I play or something. I don't know. I don't really quite understand the flying Pikmin yet, but they have something to do with going in the water, I think, maybe, or going over the water.
Probably.
There's these assholes in the water that keep shooting at me. I'm like, when are they gonna let me go to the water and get rid of those assholes?
I mean, the blue ones are in there, right? They're the water guys, also.
Maybe I just haven't gotten to them yet. I've got like the big ones. I guess they're the rock ones, and I got the red ones and the yellow ones, and then I just got the flying ones.
I mean, you get all of them. You get all of them in Pikmin 4, and I think you mostly use the flying things for stuff that was high up or flying characters or whatever.
So far,
I
I've
don't
only used
remember
the
using
flying
them
ones
that much.
for. There's like a type of gate where they have to like grab it from the top and like fly and
Yeah.
hold it up, and then you go underneath.
Sure, yeah, I remember those too. I don't remember if those are in 4 or not, or just 3.
So, needless to say, it's a cool game, but there's certain things about the mechanics that get tiring for me. But luckily, the game has just got so much charm, and the music, is cool, and just the ambient sounds and the bad guys are both lovable and terrifying at the same time, like a good Nintendo game should be. So, yeah, Pikmin 3.
They're definitely terrifying, or they can be. Well, especially when they can wipe out a huge amount of your characters. Or your
Honestly,
teams.
though, that's about it. You'd think I would have been playing more, like a wider variety of games, being at home, but I just haven't found myself playing.
I saw you playing some stuff. I mean, I saw you playing, what is it? Vampire Survivors?
Yeah, I was playing some of that. Of course, I've been playing my my Peglin game, and I played some Balatro. I have that. When I play that now, it's almost like I don't know. I don't know. I can't play it for very long because I've got it set to where it's on the highest speed, and I've gotten to where I play it so quick that I don't even know how I'm enjoying it anymore.
I had it on the cell phone version. I pumped up the speed, where you drop the ball and it's like, and it just goes really quick, and it's just like I could just try to go through this as quick as I can, and it's kind of like I felt the same way. It's like, am I even enjoying this or even noticing anything happening?
I think I'm just I've reached maybe I already said it last week or the week before. I don't know. I've kind of come to a I'm just want to take a break from roguelikes. I want to play something with a definitive beginning and end, and I think my brain's just longing for that more narrative gameplay experience, and I'm getting that a little bit with Pikmin, I guess.
Yeah,
Otherwise, though, not much.
you
I
do
watched
love them roguelikes. I did actually see. I saw you were playing Fortnite the other night. That's why
Oh right, yeah.
That's why
So I've just been kind
that's
of
why I
going through
texted
and
you
playing
to
a
see
little
if
bit of
you-
lots of things.
see if you wanted to play. I actually saw that you and Joe were playing Fortnite at the same time.
Oh,
I
that's
was like,
random.
I was like, you guys should play. Well, no, I just saw he was playing on Switch and you were playing on PlayStation. But come play
I don't know,
Fortnite
I
with us
downloaded some
sometime.
stuff like that I'm hoping to play. Like I re-downloaded Luigi's Mansion 3. I think I'm going to give that a spin, just since it's the season for that sort of thing.
Mhm.
And then I also watched Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I've only watched that.
Nice.
best
this
best
week.
theme song ever.
Have you never seen it before?
No, I hadn't seen it.
I thought we
what
made
me
watched
want to
it.
watch it. We might.
I
have.
thought we watched it together. But yeah, it has like one of the best theme songs. I mean, I think the theme song is one of the best parts about it. Well, and the clowns are incredibly scary looking. But it's such a tame movie Like there's like no blood in it at all. It's like rated
No,
like
it's all-
PG.
At a certain
practically.
point, it just like turns
Yeah.
into vignettes of the clowns doing silly things that lead to people dying.
Or like killing people with shadow puppets or whatever. It's so tame as far as like the gore goes, but the clowns are pretty freaky looking, and the song is awesome. The Dickies theme song is badass.
Oh yeah,
Any inkling to play the game?
I doubt it.
Did it ever come out?
It did come out, yeah.
No.
I got interested in it when I found out that it was the same people that made Ernest Scared Stupid.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
then
true.
they reused the costumes, just like repainted them or whatever.
Did it? I thought the guys who made it only made this movie, and they had a
They
sequel.
got
Well,
them to do a bunch
At
of
the
stuff.
time, but then they went on to make.
But
Ernest
I
Scared
think
Stupid
maybe
afterwards.
they did the costumes for Ernest Scared Stupid. I don't think they were like director, producer, and all that stuff that they were on this movie.
That's what I'm saying. I
But
think
they opened up a big special effects studio.
because
They're still working.
The people who did the movie, they only did like one movie, and there was actually a sequel that was planned. And when
Killer Clowns?
whenever Disney bought Fox, that was one of the actual things that they canceled. Like, fuck you, Disney. You don't understand greatness. No, but I guess when they bought a 20th Century Fox, there was a whole bunch of stuff that was in development, and I guess there was a Killer Clowns sequel that was kind of on the horizon, and they canceled that.
I met one of those guys at when I worked at IMAX. One of them came by. I don't remember which one it was, but I know there's three of them. And one of them came by. I was like, oh, that's the guy who did Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and he's here playing VR. I thought that was pretty cool to see him.
Yeah, they're like all related.
They're brothers.
The Chiodo brothers.
Have you watched this Junji Ito? Was it Uzumaki?
I'd like to watch it.
I watched the first episode. I guess people are mad about the second episode, but I haven't seen the second
I
one
was
yet.
kind of happy, not happy, but it was nice to see that it wasn't just me that was like, wait, something
It
seems
took a
off.
dive.
It takes a really strong dive.
There's only like four
animation quality.
There's only like 4 episodes or something, right? I heard
Yeah.
people saying it was really rushed, which is unfortunate. I like I said
Well,
last.
it was delayed because of the pandemic. I remember this was now so long ago. It was now pre-pandemic.
I mean,
and,
I just heard about it now. Maybe because it finally had a release date.
Well, I mean,
They started really pushing it hardcore because it was going to be on Adult Swim or whatever. So that's how I started seeing, and then like it was on my like TV app previewing when I'm like going through on my TV, and the visuals just like captivated me. So I would say watch the first episode if you haven't. It's really good as far as like visually, it's just amazing.
We watched most of it. I really liked the way it looked. Well, and I had mentioned last week, I've seen there's an Uzumaki movie, and I've seen that, and it doesn't really. It's kind of hard to capture like the spinning eyeballs in live action because it kind of just looks cheesy. But I have the DVD of it.
Yeah.
I bought it.
Oh, it's a live action movie.
Yeah, I bought it from Reckless Records, I think, years ago. But I have the DVD of the Uzumaki movie, which came out I don't know when. But yeah, like the guy that like the dad that has like the spinning eyeballs who gets like spun into the like he's in there. Like I remember some of the stuff from the movie, but the movie he's just kind of rotating his eyes like organically, like just acting wise, and I'm like, this is really cheesy and isn't really scary at all. So it was kind of hard to get past that, like in the live action movie, but I guess it still had some
Well, the anime does
funniness
a
to
great
it.
job of doing all that weird shit. So you'll see some pretty weird shit. I will say, if nothing else, watch it if you just want to see some weird shit because it's like there in spades. It's in really like high resolution, black and white, very hand animated or very hand drawn looking. It's beautiful. And then the second episode, not so much.
Have you seen Dan to Dan yet? I really want to see that.
Yeah, I watched that as well. And then I had
Awesome.
I think
Yeah, I
I heard
figured
them
you
talk
would've.
about it on Blood God, but I had just watched it because I was bored. Because I was sitting around a lot this week and I watched a lot of TV, and yeah, I was watching a lot of anime, including Dan, which I like.
Yeah, I heard it was. Well, I saw that it had just released. I saw that it had released on Netflix, and I read the synopsis of it, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds cool." And then they mentioned it on X of the Blood God like the next week or the next day.
I would very strongly like if you listen to that episode, like follow their advice because there's some pretty
Oh yes, because some of the subject
some crazy
material.
like sexual assault kind of stuff that they really kind of stretch out that scene. I don't know. I guess it's just part of it. But it was, I guess that character ended up winning in the end, so that's cool, but it was still just kind of fucked up.
I'm interested in checking it out. Did you watch the Ranma remake also?
I haven't watched that
of
yet.
Netflix anime
Oh, that's
stuff.
out already?
Yeah.
I think it just came
Well,
out.
the first couple episodes are out. Like, it's not like fully out.
I'm really curious to see how they handle that. It seems like that entire subject would be a big pass for the modern day and age.
I mean, not really. I mean, it's just you're just changing. I don't know. I think it could be done well. I don't know. The big thing, and I liked Ranma, but I tried to watch it more recently, like a few years ago, and a lot of it was very much like, oh, I'm about to fight this person, then I get doused in water. Oh, I'm a girl now, I can't fight, and I'm like, oh god. So hopefully they fix that stuff, because the gender stuff of it was like, ugh, you know. But it was pretty big for the day, and it still has hopefully the theme song is as like fun and catchy as the original one, because I love that original intro.
I just love that. Yeah, I just love just watching them dance or whatever.
And all the running, like where they're just running. Yeah. And I remember playing some of the Super Famicom games, like when I first discovered emulators in college. You know, because they had like Ranma half fighting games that I played.
I'm gonna check it out. Otherwise, though, I guess that's about all I got to talk about for video games.
Cool. Yeah, I was wondering what you'd been watching for horror movie stuff.
Oh, well, yeah, we watched, we're working our way through Casper. Which is not so much horror, but, it's got...
Through Casper, like the 1996 PG movie?
Yes.
Like Christina Ricci Casper?
Yeah.
How many of those are there?
I don't know. We've just been working our way through it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're working your way through multiple Casper movies?
No, just that one.
Just the one. Just the like 90-minute movie, or working your way through it.
The guy from isn't the guy from?
I have a hard time watching movies.
Well, I think you'd have a hard time watching Casper.
I do.
I mean, because it's not good, right?
No.
I mean, isn't the guy from SLC Punk in there? The
no.
Guy, or is that one of the later ones? So.
He was in Scooby Doo.
I thought he. I don't know. I thought Jess said he was in one of those. The guy, the one
Matthew
with
Lillard.
no, not Matthew Lillard. There's more than one person in SLC Punk. I'm talking about the guy who has the crazy drug trip and ends up becoming homeless. He was like kind of a he was kind of a heartthrob. There was something he was in that's
Devon Sawa.
Yeah, Devon Sawa, that guy.
That's Devon Sawa. Yeah, he is in there. He's Casper.
That's what I was saying.
Casper turns into a human.
Jess always had a crush on him, and they told me that he was in Casper, and I honestly only knew him from the SLC Punk, well, and like Hedwig and the Angry Inch, and he's in a lot of great stuff. Was he in
Hedwig? I don't know that.
He was in Bully also.
Bully was fantastic.
Yeah.
No, he was in Bully.
Yeah,
I confused him with Brad Renfro before, but I don't.
Yeah, Brad Renfro.
Well, Brad Renfro is a different character, but no,
okay.
he's in Bully. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
I think he is. Yeah. Now you're making me second guess myself, but I mean I know who Brad Renfro is because he's dead, unfortunately. He was the bully's friend that turned on him or whatever.
Well, anyway, Casper.
Anyway, yeah, Casper. Oh no, it's Michael Pitt actually. I confused Devon Sawa with Michael Pitt.
Yeah, okay.
Which I think he was in Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
He was in Hedwig. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they look similar to me. So there you go. That's our movie part of whatever we're called, NintenDomain.
Hey, what games we got coming out soon?
Yeah, so October. All right, so yeah, let's go. We can go to the news segment now of our show, whatever.
News. Don't snooze or you miss the news.
So there's a lot of games coming out in October. It's almost as loaded, if not more loaded, than September. So it's kind of like, holy shit, there's a lot
September.
of stuff. But yeah, September had a ton of games, and now October has a ton of games. So I just kind of laid them all out just because there's a lot of them. And I want to try to there's a lot of them that I'm interested in, but I mean, I'm probably not going to have enough money to get them. But starting off this week, Camp Sunshine is out, which is like an NES. It looks like an NES-style Friday the 13th type horror game, which I thought looked kind of cool. It's $7. I don't know. I probably won't get it, but I'm interested to see what people think about it. Sky Ocean's Wings for Hire also comes out this week. That's the
Skies of Arcadia.
that's the Skies of
code.
Arcadia wannabe game. So I'd like somebody to review that so I can see Switch Up. Get on it. You're the ones who always review the cool stuff. So yeah, I want to see what that is. But yeah, that came out. This comes out this week for $25. Like I said, I'll wait for a review on that, but I'm definitely interested. UFO Robot Grandizer. That's another mech game that's coming out this week for $40. Whatever. But the game that
I'm
I'm
looking for more games with grandizing.
yeah, isn't that like crushing pepper or whatever. The big thing I'm waiting for, which I talked about last week because it just got announced, is F-Zero GP Legend and F-Zero Climax, which is coming out today or tomorrow. I mean, it's supposed to be tomorrow, but sometimes it launches early, so it might be out tonight. I'm very excited to play these games, even though I already have them, but I want to play them on Switch. I guess have them, quote unquote. I have F-Zero Climax on my phone through the Delta emulator. Europa is also coming out this week for $14.99. I've heard people talk good things about that. There's a demo out. I really wanted to play it, but I didn't get to it. But, we'll see.
That's the one that looks kind of like Breath of the Wild, and you're a kid who like flies or something.
Yeah, pretty much. You're a kid that flies. I don't know if it looks like Breath of the Wild that much. Maybe there's some grass in there. I don't know. But yeah, that's coming out. RPG Maker with is out now, which will come out. But you can actually, the fun thing about the RPG Maker games, and the only reason I'm mentioning it, is that you can actually play the games on there for free. Like the demo of RPG Maker is basically you can play anything that anybody makes. So
cool.
This has been like this for every RPG Maker that's come out for Nintendo systems, as far as I know. So if you just want to play a like fan-made RPG game, you can just download the demo for free and just play whatever people have made, and you only have to pay for the actual maker part of it. So that's really cool. So that kind of makes it so people could play it and not put money towards it. If you really, really want to know what's out there, you can check it out. And there are didn't Undertale start as to come from an RPG Maker
I heard something
program?
like that.
So like
it was a
these,
game maker.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was specifically RPG Maker, but it was like one of those types of softwares.
I'm just saying there are games that have come from that end up being big hits. Like what was it? Yumaniki was what came from an RPG Maker thing, I think, and so did Momotaro. What was it called? The horror one? Like that was from an RPG Maker thing too. So I mean, it's worth looking at.
If somebody wants to make a NintenDomain RPG, I will play it.
I mean, I downloaded the demo just so I could fuck around and see what's out there. I guess nothing's going to be out there yet because it's not officially released yet, or I don't know if it has. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't check to see if there's anything on there. Maybe by next week.
I just want to remake my classic Steel and Walrus.
Is that the one where you got 5 airships? From
Yeah. Your character wakes up in the morning and goes, I think I'm going to steal a walrus today. And then you go and you try to steal.
Oh, yeah.
You go and being a bad guy, and then you get a bunch of airships. They're called the Walrus Airship.
Nice.
Nice.
I want games where you get multiple airships at once. But yeah, that's coming out on the 11th. And then next week, Neva, not the sequel to Grease, or Gris, whatever. But same developers. We saw it on the Direct. That's coming out next week. A lot of people are excited about that one. That was $20. But the one I'm really going to get, Just Dance 2025, comes out on the 15th. No,
I heard it's going to be the last one. You better get it.
I want to know what next year is going to be like, so I'm going to play that.
Just Dance 2025 is going to be the last one released on Wii.
Yeah, on Wii U or whatever. I just put that on there just because it's funny that those games still come out. But Crow Country comes out on the 16th. This is actually one that I am very much interested in, and I'll probably end up getting. Because Crow Country was the one that's supposed to be kind of modeled after old Resident Evil games, but it definitely has an art style of its own, where they kind of look like clay characters on there. But it's made by the people who did Scribblenauts. So, or not Scribblenauts.
Oh.
What's the other one? The one where you bite your heads off. What the fuck was it called? It was an early Switch
Sounds
game.
really different from Scribblenauts.
It was an early
Snipper Clips.
Snipper Clips.
Snipper Clips.
It was the people who did Snipper Clips that did that one. So I'm really interested in Crow Country. So we'll see how that goes. Of course, I'm buying this one. I already have my Nintendo voucher purchased, so I've actually already paid for it. And that one is Mario Party Jamboree. Comes out on the 17th. I'm going to try to stream it next week. We'll see if if I get that working or not. But
Is that 2 Mario Party games on the Switch?
3. This
3.
is the third Mario Party game. So we have Super Mario Party, we have Mario Party Superstars, and this is Mario Party Jamboree. So yeah, even though Mario Party Superstars is kind of a greatest hits Mario Party, but it's still a Mario Party game. But yeah, no, this one has got a lot of people talking about it. I'm very excited to play it. We mentioned it last week, maybe, where the Mario Party Pro mode, like that's what I'm really, really excited about, like making it actually competitive and all that. So I'm in. I mean, I'm always in for every Mario Party game, but this one I think might be good. So hooray! Another one I'm definitely going to get: Killing Time Resurrected. Did you happen to look at that trailer that I put on the Slack, John? Because this game kind of looks like your game. Because what if it was a first-person shooter where you had to fight FMV characters? It's like
I'm interested in this.
They call it like a combination of Doom and Seventh and the 11th Hour, or Seventh Guest, like those games. And the characters are very much like captured, FMV stuff, and those clowns look kind of freaky. The ones with the big hands that come at you, like
they do look kind of freaky. Yeah, I remember this game from the 3DO. This was a game that always intrigued me, and but yeah, it's right up my alley. You got it exactly right. That FMV game, cheesy from that era. I'm in.
First-person shooter plus FMV. Yep. I'm planning on getting it just because anybody who's listened to this podcast knows that I'm a huge fan of Night Dive Studios, and this is their newest FPS remake, and whether the game is good or not, they still do a very good job remastering the games. Like, what was it, PO'd? I kind of hated that game, but they still did a really good job making it, even though it's not fun to play. But they did a good job remaking it. That one was kind of a miss for me, but also it's stupid. There's enemies you can't kill. It's like dumb. But yeah, I'm really interested in this one, so I'm planning on getting it. Comes out on the same day as Mario Party, but I already paid for Mario Party, so hey.
Yeah, bring back all the bad games.
Yeah, well, I mean, first-person shooters. I just bring more first-person shooters. It's already been like a crazy year for first-person shooters on Switch. Like we got the Postal Brain Damage. Like that was a very early game, but we also had the other one that I loved that has a really long name, the Vengance or whatever it's called, Slayers of the Vengance. That game was really, really good too. So I'm excited to see this. Also on the same day is this fighting game called Blazing Strike, which actually looks a lot like Guilty Gear X. Like it kind of has that really cool animation style, and I think it's an Axis game also. So I'm interested to see what it's about. Like the characters look really, really cool. And
I forgot to mention too, there was a pretty good fighting game on the Atari 50 collection, which I want to talk to you a little bit more about, Trey, because it sounds like it would be something you're interested in. It's called Fight for Life. It was for the Atari Jaguar, and it was programmed. It was directed by one of the programs behind Virtua Fighter. So it really feels a lot like Virtua Fighter. And I was just kind of struck by this actually feels like pretty decent. Like it's not. I wouldn't call it a great fighting game, but it feels pretty good. Like it's kind of fun to play. It feels like Virtua Fighter. So you might be interested because it kind of imagine Virtua Fighter with the floaty, jumpy physics.
It looked really floaty. I watched the video you put on Slack, and it looked rough.
It's super floaty. It's rough. It has what you might generously call a Jaguar charm to it. Yeah, but I thought it was worth looking at. It's like what if Virtua Fighter was done on the Jaguar and they were going for more of a Mortal Kombat vibe.
Sure. Yeah, it's interesting. Let's see. What else do we have here? Another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. We've had like 20 of those this year. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants Unleashed. This one is based on the newest movie, so it's on that style of animation. That one comes out on the 18th for $40. Somebody will get it. Hot Wheels Monster Trucks Stunt Mayhem also comes out on the same day for $40. I only put it on there because is it like still in the realm of the Hot Wheels racing game or whatever that came out that was pretty good? I don't know. As long as you're still racing inside of people's houses where you're really tiny, then maybe. This is one that we probably mentioned before, maybe didn't. I don't remember. But
It is.
Retro Realms Arcade. So this one is actually on the eShop now, and the way it's presented is really weird. So you can download the Retro Realms Arcade app for free, but you got to pay $25 each for the different games that are inside of the Retro Realms Arcade. So it's like a virtual arcade that you walk around, but you have to pay for the actual arcade
Oh,
games.
it's like the Capcom arcade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arcade
Kind of
Stadium,
like that, I guess, is what I'm gathering from it. So it's a lot more expensive than I thought it would be. You know, I was hoping it would be like $20 for both of them, but so it's like there's a Halloween fighting game, and there's an Ash versus Evil Dead like
They're
beat 'em
25
up
each?
game, and they're both 25 each. But if you have both of
They
them,
better be pretty
somehow they interact with each other. I don't know. Like I'm kind of on the fence about this one because they haven't really shown much about it, but I
Yeah, I
do
wanna see some
do
reviews.
love. I mean, I do love Evil Dead, so I mean.
I like the idea of a gory horror beat 'em up. That's pretty cool. Like especially starting like Michael Myers and Ash. You know, I think every one of those '80s horror characters should get their own beat 'em up game. That sounds appropriate. You know,
They're just so like
their intent.
they're just so different though. Like I never imagined a game where you just walk around as Michael Myers and just kill people. Like I mean, you know, like what?
It's pretty bleak. Yeah,
Yeah, that seems like a weird game to want to have. It's like, man, I wish that I was the killer and I could just go through and kill PJ Souls again from that first one. Don't kill her; she's great. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when there's more about that. But that comes out on the 18th. Wilder Myth comes out on the 22nd. I swear that Eric talked about this on Axe the Blood God. I've heard the name before.
Like a long time ago.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about it, and that's the only.
It was a long time ago. I remember listening to it on my headphones while I was shopping for Christmas presents at Target. So it was
Yeah, I remember
probably
I
in
was
November.
I was going to buy some Crystal Pepsi and a copy of Encino Man on VHS.
Wow, that was a long time ago. But yeah, Wilder Myth. That was a game that that was liked by people, and it's coming to Switch finally on the 22nd for $24.99. But also coming to Switch, which Alex mentioned this from one of the Summer Games Fest. Fear the Spotlight is coming out for $19.99 on the 22nd. I'm really interested in this game because it's kind of like the other one, like Crow Country, in the way that it's supposed to look like a PlayStation 1 game, but it's like a PlayStation 1 horror game, and I like those like games that are made specifically to look like older systems or whatever. So I'm definitely probably maybe going to get that one. I don't know.
definitely, probably, maybe. Love that
Definitely,
Oasis
probably, maybe. Yep. I promise to maybe thinking about getting it whenever I'm ready to commit to
Set your
to get it.
Alarmo to remember.
Yeah. Romancing Saga 2, a game I already have, but this is the remake of it, the 3D version of it, which people seem to really like. There's like a 4-hour demo out there. I want to play the demo. I probably won't buy the game, but it's coming out on the 24th. There's actually a sequel to that Shin-Chan game that I like. I actually thought it was a different thing, but apparently it's very similar to the Boku no Natsuyasumi thing. Shin-Chan Shiro in the Coal Town is coming out on the 24th for $40, and the animation looks amazing. So it kind of looks like the other one, like the other one that I have, which I still haven't beaten. Maybe I should try to get through that one and then do the other one. But that was kind of a surprise release where I'm like, oh yeah, no, that looks great, but I don't know if I get around to it. Slay the Princess, that was just announced last week, but I'm really excited about that because it kind of has that Inscription sort of gameplay from what I've heard. Seems really interesting. It's coming out on the 24th for $17.99, which is also the same day as Yakuza Kiwami, coming out for $19.99.
I'll be getting that.
I know one of us
committed.
is getting that one because I sent you the money for it. But yeah, I'm going to get it, even though I already have it on PS4. I'm getting it just to support the Yakuza brand on Switch because it should be on there. And I think you'll love it because Yakuza is a Sega game. Like the Yakuza has actually become Sega's main like property now. Like that's kind of where they made their money from over the years. Like it's become very popular. And
Aside from Sonic.
well, Sonic is whatever, but every Yakuza game has been great. Where Sonic has lost his way for a long time, is all I'm saying. Where the Yakuza games are actually guaranteed winners, and they get reviewed really well, and it's not, people aren't divisive about it. I think that's where they got most of their, well, and not to mention, I guess they do produce like the Persona games and stuff like that, so there's also a lot of money coming from that, but I feel like that's, the Yakuza's really kind of become their flagship title, because it's the ones that actually get reviewed well.
Did you ever watch that trailer for the show?
Nope.
Are you gonna?
I know. I mean, I don't need to watch trailers for things that I'm gonna watch anyway. You know, we've said that before on here.
True.
I've seen the pictures of the guy cast. I said this before. I've seen the pictures of the guy cast as Kiryu. I don't think he looks anything like him at all. I think it's a really weird casting, but whatever. You know, I don't know. I'll watch. It's going to be on Max or something, right? Or no, it's on Prime. I mean, I'll give it a chance, but I'm not excited about it. But I'm never excited about any sort of video game, movie, TV thing. So, you know, it's we'll see.
At least it's in Japanese. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be as good as that other one that we watched. The one about the American journalist. Anyway, it was really good. If you want to watch the show about Yakuza, watch it on Max. Tokyo Vice is what it was called. If you want to watch an actual good show that feels like a Yakuza game TV show, Tokyo Vice was incredible. It's based on a true story about an American journalist who worked in Japan and got involved with the Japanese Yakuza and all that. There were 2 seasons, and I think it got canceled after that, but it ended. I mean, the story was over after the 2nd season, but Jess and I watched it and absolutely loved it. There's host clubs and hostess clubs in there, and yeah, it was done really, really well. I highly, highly recommend it. But East 10 Nordics, I actually already purchased this too. I purchased the physical version from Amazon. We'll see if they actually send that to me or not. It's never been confirmed. It says that I got it, but it's we'll email you whenever we find out when the release date is. It's we know the release date. It's the 25th. Get off your ass. So if they end up not sending it to me or whatever, I might just buy it digitally because I've been waiting forever to play this game. But yeah, East 10 Nordics looks great. It was actually developed specifically for the Switch because of because Falcom got a lot of sales on the last Ease games. So I'm very excited about that game. It's probably already going to be my game of the year, I'm sure. I played the demo. It actually runs really well on Switch. I played the Japanese demo. It's just all in Japanese. But it's really responsive, fun action RPG stuff that I like so much with the 6 soundtrack. And also on the same day, Sonic Shadow Generations for $50, $49.99. The thing that's interesting about this one is the Shadow version of the game is actually going to be as long as the regular Generations, is what they say. So you're basically getting double the game for one thing. So that intrigues me a little bit. I mean, I won't buy it at full price, but maybe I'll get it on sale later. And I do actually have Sonic Generations for PS3. I bought it for $9 when it was on sale when the first Sonic movie came to theaters. So, I kind of already have the game, but I'm interested to see the Shadow stuff in there. So whatever.
There's also going to be, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, movie-themed DLC, and Keanu Reeves is going to voice Shadow in that DLC.
Yeah, it isn't, but he's not voicing Shadow for the Shadow game that's in there.
That's my understanding. I think there's just a movie-themed DLC where he's the voice.
Oh, because I heard that I thought he was doing the voice of Shadow throughout the whole game, because all the Shadow stuff is new. So why not just have him be on there if you can have him as a bonus thing? It's the what do you call it? It's the Bowser's Fury. It's the Bowser's Fury of Sonic Generations. It's like they're re-releasing the old game, but they're also giving you a whole entirely new game on top of it, which is the same length as the original one, which I think the original one wasn't that long, but I think that's going to do pretty well in reviews and all that, and people will be all about it. But what I don't think is going to do well in reviews, but I'm still really interested to play it, is Shadow of the Damned Hella Remastered, which is another Suda 5.1 Grasshopper game that I never got to play. And at some point, I'm just going to buy that and the Lollipop Chainsaw one on sale and just torture myself with both of them and see how bad they really are. I watched a video of Lollipop Chainsaw on the eShop, and I was like, wow, this game looks bad. I was like, you could it does not run well. Even the trailer they're showing on the eShop makes it not look good at all. And I heard it doesn't run very well, and it's a PS3 game. Come on, you could have easily put it on here and made it work better. But anyway, they're doing another one. It's about half the price of the Lollipop Chainsaw one. This one is $25. Lollipop Chainsaw was $50 too, which is come on, guys. But yeah, when both of those are on sale, maybe I'll probably end up, just out of pure curiosity. And it's coming out on on Halloween on the 31st, and also I'd forgotten about it because it's not on the eShop. But apparently, Clock Tower Rewind is also coming out on
31st.
on Halloween, which I have seen no evidence of that aside from people just saying it. But it's not on the eShop, and you can't pre-order it or anything. So I don't know what the. Well, I mean, I guess you could pre-order the physical, but not the digital. But that still didn't have a release date on it.
I'm always curious about that. Why some games are on the eShop so early, and then other games it's just like they just show up.
Yeah,
You know they're coming, and they just like show up that day, and like I'm always wondering why does that happen.
well, and sometimes you can preload them, and sometimes you can't, and like sometimes they don't have prices on them, and sometimes they don't like you can't buy it until it's actually out. Like there's all these different things about it where it's like
Right.
what
They could make a lot more money if they were a lot smarter about that kind of thing, and then wish listing too. Like my major gripe: why is there a cap of wish listing at 200? I want more than 200 games, and wouldn't it be
because
more beneficial if they could?
They expect
About-
most people to actually buy their wish lists. That's why they cap it at 200. They don't want you to just make 1,000 games that you'll never buy and just keep them on there.
I suppose.
They're like, we have to cap it somewhere. We don't want you to just look at games and just not get them.
But I want to like flag the games. If they ever go on sale, I want to be alerted to that, and they could do a better job for Switch 2 on this issue.
For what I want for Switch 2, and this happens sometimes for like PS4 and PS5 games, is I want countdowns for everything. I want like an hour a day countdown for something, especially if you pre-order it. It should be like, hey, here's the exact time that this is coming out at, so you know. And they used to do that for the Nintendo Switch Online stuff, but they stopped doing it. Like, what the hell, guys? Like, get with it. Like, I miss when they would do. They'd be like, oh, hey, Mario Golf 64 is coming out in 5 hours from now or whatever. Like, they don't do it anymore.
We want clocks. We want alarms.
Yeah, I mean, we have a clock.
Give us alarms.
Yeah,
I want to count down right on my Alarmo to whatever game's coming out. So
Yeah, there you go.
It would
Picks me out of bed. Go buy this fucking game.
That would be awesome, actually.
Actually, that'd be more intriguing for me. I'd be a little bit more interested in Alarmo if it was like, oh yeah, get up, and by the way, 5 more days till Yakuza Kiwami it comes out. You have something to live for now. Now you can actually get out of bed and not just
Get out of
stay
bed
in
or
there
you're going to be executed gangster style.
Yeah, get out of bed or you're gonna get beaten to death with a bike, which you'll do a lot in that game. Yeah, it's like Batman. It's like they beat you to death, but you're okay. It's like I obviously just broke your entire face with one of those like smoking chimney things, but you're fine. And then you'll be like, oh, I feel better now. Here's 50 yen or whatever. I can't wait till you get to play that game. I think you'll love it. Like I said, it's very much.
I know I'm gonna love it.
It's very much and it's very much a Sega game. Like, the later Yakuza games, they actually put entire like Sega arcade games within the game. Whereas like what was it, Yakuza 0, you could play through all of Outrun, and Super Hang-On is in there too. And there's mini game, and there's like side missions involving those games, involving you playing them at Sega arcades and stuff like that. It's really cool.
Yeah, it started with Shenmue.
It did, yeah. But what is it? One of them has like all of Virtua Fighter 5 on it. Maybe that was 6. Yeah, because 6 has the entire Virtua Fighter 5 game within the game. Which that game is not like. I mean, that's an awesome looking. Like, it's a great looking game. Like, it's it was like a PS4 game or something. So, or maybe it's PS3, but it looks really good. That's what I'm saying, and it's all inside of another game, which I like games inside of games. But yeah, that's the end of the October countdown as far as I know right now. But yeah, shit ton of games coming out. No, we did get one. I put it on the Facebook community page, which you can find on Facebook, Nintendo main community page, and actually just did comment like just now or earlier. Obviously Mario Party. I really hope they were going to drop some new maps for the last one, and that just never happened. Glad to have more. And Pro Mode sounds cool. I agree. No, we're going to be playing that game a lot, so it's going to be a good time. So what else do we have in the news? Actually, one big thing I want to mention before I forget about it. It's not video game related, but no, it is enough. AEW officially is coming to Max now. They finally announced it. They've been teasing the fuck out of it for months. And last week on Dynamite, they just kind of mentioned it offhandedly. off whatever. Like the announcers were just like, oh yeah, and we're coming to Max next year. I expected there to be like a big presentation where Tony Khan comes out and it's like, hey, we're bringing wrestling to streaming, so you don't have to have cable anymore because so many people don't have cable, and now they can watch wrestling. So anyway, I'm excited about it. From what I heard, they're going to show they'll be showing Dynamite and Collision live, and you can watch it after the fact on Max. So that's worth it. Like I've been paying like $50 a month for cables just so I can watch wrestling, and now you can do it on there. Now I'm really interested to see what they do with the pay-per-views, because I think what they're going to do is you're going to get a discounted rate through Max. I don't think you're going to have access to all the pay-per-views, but what they should do is they should let you have access to the previous ones to a point. Like maybe give us like, I don't know, like 2019 through like 2023 or something like that for free through the Max app. So you can watch some of those old pay-per-views. And I'm really hoping they do is, and they have to, like, why would you not? It's just put all of the Dynamites on there, all of the Rampages. Let you start from the beginning. You can go all the way back to the very beginning of AEW, and you could watch like episode after episode of it if you want to. And a lot of people do want to do that, where they could see all the history of it and all that. So if they're not doing that, I don't know what you're thinking, but I know you already have Max, Jeremy, so maybe you can watch it occasionally. I doubt that you would, but you'll have it there if you want to. If you want to see what's trending on X or whatever, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's that match that happened between Bryan Danielson and whoever.
However they do it, I hope they give it its own like unique standout section, and not just like one little corner. Here's AEW. Here's the AEW match of the week or whatever. Like, give it its own whole page and make it a whole thing. The way that, like, I don't love Disney Plus, but at least they separate it to, like, here's the Star Wars stuff, here's the Marvel stuff.
Oh, sure, yeah.
They should get its own whole. Here's AEW.
They kind of do that for some things, but not all the time. Like at one point they did because whatever, I still call it HBO Max because that was what it was originally called. But at one point they had like, here's all our Godzilla movies, because they do have like all of the original Godzilla movies on there, and that was cool, But it's not always there. Like when you go to the main page, it doesn't always say like, oh, here's this, because sometimes it's not there. And I guess like some Disney Plus does that too. But yeah, no, they need to have like. They need to make a big deal out of it, is what they should do, because I think it is a pretty big deal to have, and probably to a lot of people who have heard about the popularity of AEW, and they probably never have had cable or want cable, like it's, put it out there and be like, hey, here's the wrestling that people have been talking about. Like, here, watch it from the beginning. Like, here's the first Dynamite episode. Here's All In Chicago from 2019 or whatever. Here's the first pay-per-view. Like, that's what they should be doing, and like try to get more eyes on it.
Max should make it seem like as big a get as it is. I mean, practically there's only two major wrestling organizations out there in our country, and this is one of them. So let's like make it a huge deal. Put it all over the page, and invite a bunch of people to come watch it, and make it seem like a big deal, because it is.
Yeah. No, I think it's a huge deal. I mean, like I said, I've read so many rumors about it, and it's nice to see that it's finally official, that it's finally happening. So. Hooray. Yeah. So, good stuff.
Well, as far as the rest of the news, I think there's only two items that I think we should talk about. They're both studies. And one of them is that the Nintendo Switch, this one isn't so much a study as one guy kind of compiled the facts. The Switch has more games and, according to Metacritic, better games than any console ever.
I believe that. They have a lot of games. lots and lots
a lot
of games.
Yeah. I think it's like 11,000 or something, over 11,000.
I guess better is subjective, but I mean, there is like a lot of games, like, and lots
they
of
said
very
that
good
it
ones.
had,
or Metacritic scores or whatever they're probably going off of, right?
Yeah, it was like, I should have made a note of this, but it was something like the most 90 out of 100s out of any console. And I believe that. I mean, just by the sheer quantity of games available for the system. Yeah.
Lots.
Metacritic validating our intuitions here on NintenDomain.
Hey, by the way, the Switch has a lot of games. I just remember I got into, this was years ago, like when the Switch first started, I got into some comment fight with somebody about the Switch versus the Vita, and they're saying that the Vita had more games than the Switch. I'm like,
What?
sure. It wasn't a very long.
I'll give you all afternoon to walk around town and ask anybody if they know what a Vita is.
Yeah, yeah, right. I mean, this was at the very beginning of the Switch. It's saying like, oh, there's more games on Vita, and I was like, give it another week. Like they come out with like 40 games a week here. Like trust me, it's gonna have so many more games than Vita. But whatever. Those Vita people still hanging on to it.
The second thing was a new study claims that most players prefer single-player games.
That's me. I'm that person.
Yeah.
I prefer single
Speaks
player
right to you.
games over multiplayer, very much so. I mean, I try to do, I like to do some multiplayer stuff. Like I like playing, we played AEW Fight Forever for way longer than you ever should online, but it was a lot of fun. So, if only it worked better, it would have been even more fun. But I do like playing, I like playing fighting. It's nice to have like somewhat of a fighting game community to play stuff with, between like Shake and Logan and Joe and all that, which they don't have. Only Shake has Marvel, but whenever it comes to physical, we'll all play it. But it is nice to have that sort of thing. But for me, like as far as like relaxation and video games, I always like the single player experience more than anything else. So I agree.
Read a little blurb from the article. As reported by GamesIndustry.biz, a new survey from Media Research suggests that 53% of people who play video games prefer playing by themselves and don't want to play online or PvP co-op modes. And the article just flashed to an ad, which was not helpful. Okay,
they should tell EA that, or whatever other company like keeps trying to force these PvP things on top of you. I remember that. What was it? There was like we talked about this a long time ago. There was some like stupid tweet where somebody was like, "Oh, they're a 10, but they only like single player games," and like everybody just like was like, "Fuck you," and they all like jumped on them in the comments, and
I remember that.
and they ended up taking it back later. But it's stupid. Yeah, stop trying to shove those multiplayer games down our throats. I mean, you saw how well it worked for Concord.
True. It also says the older you are, the more likely that you prefer single player games. Again, I believe that.
It's coming after me, calling me out for my age. But speaking of age, there is like one more anniversary that I wanted to mention.
What do you got?
We talked about Tony Hawk Underground 2 having a 20th anniversary, but a much, much better game has a 20th anniversary. And that game is Mortal Kombat Deception, probably one of my favorite Mortal Kombat games of all time. It was a GameCube game. It was the second so there was Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3. That was its own trilogy, with the captured photo characters and all that. And then we have 4 that's kind of its own outlier that one's kind of to the side. And then there was 5, 6, and 7, which was Deadly Alliance, Deception, and Armageddon. And I think I still think Deception is the best one. That was the second one that came out on GameCube. And the main reason for me was that it had a full-on open-world single-player mode, which, I'm looking at Street Fighter 6 right now. They totally stole this mode for their like Final Fight mode or whatever they call it for Street Fighter 6. That was 100% stolen from Mortal Kombat Deception. They did it first. But Mortal Kombat Deception, yeah, you can walk through all the different realms. You can go to the Nether realm. You can go to the Earth realm. And there's a bunch of different, there's the Outworld. Like, you can go to all the different Mortal Kombat worlds. And you basically kind of start as like a blank slate character. And you learn moves from other characters. And that's what, you learn moves from characters from the game. And then you kind of basically end up as a character who has all the moves from all the game. You do the exact same thing in Street Fighter 6. Like, they totally took this whole mode and stole it and put it in Street Fighter 6. And Deception had, like, really cool characters. Like, they brought, like, back Baraka and Goro, and they looked awesome in 3D at the time. And they had, like, a ton of, like, in-stage fatalities that you could do. Like, all these different crazy stuff you could do to people, like, in the middle of the match and all that. And it was a lot of fun. It was my favorite one of those games, of that style, before they rebooted it with Mortal Kombat. What was it, 9 or whatever? Or no, it came out in 2009. It's not actually 9. I always think of it as 9 just because it came out in that year. But whatever the first reboot one was. But yeah, Mortal Kombat Deception is awesome. And I don't think that NetherRealm will ever re-release any of their Mortal Kombat games, but I wish they would. And if there was one, I'd be like, hey, release these. I'd want that trilogy, the Deadly Alliance Deception Armageddon trilogy. is what I'd want them to re-release, because people don't talk about those enough. That seemed to be like that was when they were trying to be serious about Mortal Kombat, and this is also when they stopped making Mortal Kombat arcades. These were the ones that just went straight to consoles and not arcades. And this is the one where they have like multiple different fighting styles for each character, and they killed Liu Kang in the first game because they thought he was too overpowered, so they tried to like balance the characters out and all that. And Liu Kang comes back as zombie Liu Kang in Deception, which I thought was hilarious. Like they just do all this fun shit, and I love those games. Like it was back when they were just, I mean, they still like, they're still having fun with the characters, but I thought these would say it was like the golden era for Mortal Kombat for me. Like I always loved Deception, and I signed up for a focus group, and then I couldn't go because of something else got in the way. And the only reason I got into the focus group was because I was the only one that had a GameCube copy of it. And I still wish I could have gotten to that focus group to tell everybody about the GameCube version of it or whatever.
Oh, like a focus group at NetherRealm or what?
No, well, it was one I found online, through Craigslist or whatever, where they pay you like $100 or whatever to talk about the video game. I've done these before.
That was specifically regarding this game.
But it was for Mortal Kombat Deception, and the guy who, said I could come, he said that a big reason that I was chosen was because I was the only one who had the GameCube version of it. Everybody else was playing it on PS2 or Xbox or whatever. And I was like, yes, GameCube representation. I can show up and be like, hey, I got this game on GameCube. It's fun. But, I really like that one, that Mortal Kombat. In 20 years, I came out on the 4th. Yeah, 2004, 10/04/04, same day for Tony Hawk Underground. They came out on the same day. And actually, interestingly, it came out for Xbox and PS2 first, and then it didn't come out on GameCube until the next year. It didn't came out in 2005. But it still counts as the 20th anniversary. So, I don't know. Go play that game. I actually thought about playing it because I do still have it. And I did do a stream way back when, where probably for another Mortal Kombat anniversary thing, where I played through that single player mode again, and it's pretty fun. Like I said, it's cool to run around through all the different levels, and it has its own story mode, and you get to build your own character based on like all the different moves that Mortal Kombat characters have. So yeah, Deception.
Yeah, put out a collection.
That's what they don't
have evidence.
Like I said, they don't really do that. But it's this money on the table in NetherRealm. I mean, isn't WB like hurting for money or whatever? WB Games like release some Mortal Kombat collections. You're gonna make money off of it. Like even if you just did 1 through 3. I mean, I know that's like on like a 1-Up Arcades or whatever, but I would rather see those ones that just never got re-released. The GameCube PS2 era ones, those 3 that I said. Deadly Alliance, Deception, and Armageddon. Like I would totally pay $60 for that as a re-release if they did it.
I have evidence
online.
that I found yesterday on Atari 50 that Digital Eclipse, that they at least have been to NetherRealm Studios, because one of the games that they photographed, they said that this I forget what game it was, but I think there's an exclusive version of Asteroids. I believe it was Asteroids. That was like the 50,000th Asteroids produced, and it was like a gold cabinet, and there's only one of them, and that cabinet resides at NetherRealm Studios, and they took a photo of it for Atari 50. Oh. So they've been to the offices before. Have some talks, get some coffee, and make a Mortal Kombat collection happen.
We were also, and I mentioned this because you said it, like on our stream that you can find at twitch.tv/NintenDomain podcast or youtube.com/NintenDomain podcast. We were talking about the, obviously we're talking about the AEW on Mac stuff, and I remember John saying like, what about WB Games? And because I guess AEW Fight Forever, there was an article about that. I don't think we mentioned that they were possibly looking for a different developer other than Ukes for the sequel.
Yeah.
I guess they own the engine at least, because the engine is solid. They just need to, like fix it. Like just go through and fix all the online bugs and shit like that. Is all I really wanted. And I would have paid for that too if they offered it, but of course they didn't. But it would be cool to see. It was like, what if WB Games ends up doing it or something? Or like, Ultimate, like, pipe dream would be, what if like NetherRealm Studios is doing AEW Fight Forever? That would be insane.
That'd be
like,
cool. They make a good one.
That would be the
Yeah.
coolest thing ever. And then all of a sudden, like Orange Cassidy is in Mortal Kombat and Kenny Omega, and that would be such a cool fuck. I mean, I don't know. I would
That's
be so
a good pairing. I don't know.
I would
if
be
Warner
so
Bros.
into
had its
that.
head on straight, that would happen, but I don't think they do.
If all of a sudden like they do like an AEW versus Mortal Kombat game, that would be so insane. Like, I don't know. And then all of a sudden you could play as Scorpion in AEW Fight Forever. Like that would be. I would fucking buy the gold edition of that for $200 on Switch or whatever, if that was a real thing. I would totally go for that. I want to see AEW.
You'd buy the
characters in Mortal
crappy
Kombat.
subpar Switch gold version.
Well, I don't have. I mean, hey, Mortal Kombat 1 is good. They fixed it. Like at least they cared.
Okay.
I'm just saying that's why they need to make AEW Fight Forever. They cared way more than Ukes ever did. Ukes didn't come back and fix it. but Midway did at least. They went and made the Switch version like comparable. I played through it multiple times. I beat the single player, and I still play the whatever it's called. I forget what the side mode is where you like move around on the board. I still play that occasionally, and I have all the DLC characters. Well, there's a new one that I haven't got yet, but it would be they would actually care and try to fix it. But I mean that's the only version I can get because there's not a PS4 one also, but. That would be crazy. I mean, they're already doing. I mean, they're doing a DC AEW crossover where they did like where characters are in the DC comics, like newer DC comics and all that. Like they could put them in video games that aren't AEW Fight Forever, and make it better. I don't know. But yeah, that's enough about that. I think we can call this episode. Oh yeah, hot off the press. Actually, just found out right now. Add it to the list of a million games that are coming out in October. Stalker: The Legend of the Zone trilogy is coming out on Halloween also.
I don't know what that is.
I remember Stalker. Wasn't Stalker like a game? I don't know. I guess it was from like the early 2000s. Maybe I'm confusing it with a different thing.
Are you confusing it with Snatcher?
Maybe so. Yeah. Anyway, there's 3 Stalker games that are coming that are re-released. Oh, they're first-person shooters. Oh, cool. Well, I'll probably buy that also. But yeah, coming out on Halloween again. Just adding it up to all the other shit that's coming out also. But yeah, if you have any money left after all those October games, you should go to patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast and support the show if you like listening to us and all that. And you can hear our bonus shows. We just recorded an episode about our favorite video game composers, and I thought it came together really well. Lots of really good songs on there. Lots of really good composers. And if you're on the $5 level, you can also listen to the WRT Radio, which basically is put together all of the intros and outros of all the different episodes. And there's a monthly version that comes out around hour and a half, and you can just kick back and listen to some video game jams. Also, you can buy all of these a la carte for $3 each if you don't want to do the monthly subscription and all that. Check out patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast for all of that. And you can also find me on whatever it's called, on Twitter, at Nintendo_domain, and at JMaxTech on there. And Blue Sky also for NintenDomain, whatever. And yeah, that's been episode 442. And we're your host. I'm Trey Johnson.
Jerry Mikowski.
John Litter.
And thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
This week on NintenDomain, there's a scary amount of games coming to Switch in October. Plus, Nintendo helps you wake up.
Wake me up!
I'm just kidding.
You can already do that. You can play that song on your phone.
You sure can.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Can't wake up.